My claim is to respond to Jason, and his main claim is fear of vaccination is having a negative effect on our community. And my main claim to response for his claim is vaccination is a medical procedure which carries a risk of injury or death. And to response of speaker's first secondary claim, he uses the example of Wakefield reports that he claims the link between vaccination and autism were proven to be false and misleading. And the evidence we found, this study is not valid. In 2010, report has been this study has been announced as a retracted report on CBC News, and also the next year, in 2011, CNN also called it an elaborated fraud, retracted autism study because it was only involved to a small group study by 12 children, and also it further examined that Wakefield outright fabricated information, and he ignored the facts of a persisting condition in 5 of these 12 children in his study. So my counter claim to support was no vaccination is perfectly safe or unharmed. To support my claim, I will give you a information. In 2008, the HRSA, U.S. Health Resources Service Administration, states to CBS News reporter Sharon Atkinson, and they say, so we have compensated cases in which children exhibited general brain damages, and the damages may be accompanied by a medical progressions of an array of symptoms, including autistic behavior, autism, or serious. And the same source from HRSA. This is a report in March 5th, 2014, which is this year. And it says the claims filed and compensated by the vaccine reported from 1998 to 2014. Total petitions filed is 15,100 cases. By fall 1995, the Federal Vaccine Injury Compensation Program (VICP) had compensated nearly 1,000 families at a cost of $600 million, and by 2014, 3,540 families had compensated at a cost of $2.6 billion since 1988, the year that National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986 was created by the VICP. And to respond to the second claim, the speaker talked about the failure to vaccinate because of the fear, and this caused potential length of vaccine preventable diseases. And the example he listed was the whooping cough epidemic of 2010 and 2014. And I found the data was not sufficient to prove the result. Because in the another published paper based for the study of this result in 2012 by Dr. Wee Maxwell and Dr. Case Paul, they found the result whooping cough vaccine wear off within as little as 3 years of administration, and 81% of recent whooping cough cases in California were in children found fully vaccinated. And the study is based on total 171 cases of clinical whooping cough and 332 in pediatric patients. So the conclusion was the vaccination effectiveness was only 41% for age 2 to 7 and 24% for the age 8 to 12. So this was the first detailed analysis of the recent North American whooping cough outbreak found widespread diseases among fully vaccinated older children. Teenagers and adults are not put at risk when they would have had a lifelong immunity contracting the diseases naturally from younger children. So my claim to response to speaker's claim was the vaccination fails to prevent individuals getting the bacterial infection and to prevent the diseases being transmitted to other individuals. And to respond to the third claim from the speaker, failure to vaccination deprives the community of the protection of herd immunity. But another study I found was from US FDA resources. It claims there have thesis that whooping cough vaccine does not provide herd immunity, and the diseases continue to be easily transmitted. And from another recent paper in 2012 by Dr. Russell Blakelock, the title is "The Deadly Impossibility of Herd Immunity Through Vaccination." And he concludes that in the original description of herd immunity, the protection to the population at large occurred only if people contracted the infections naturally. But the one major problem is that vaccine induces the immunity lasts only for a short period, from 2 to 10 years only, and then this applies only to humoral immunity, which is only the upper portion of the body. And so society is suggesting a booster for most of the vaccines, such as common childhood infections such as chicken pox, measles, or rubella, is because to maintain the effectiveness of the vaccination. So to conclude my claim, I want to use the National Vaccine Information Center. They give all the parents a reminder before they make decision to give vaccine to their child. It says, vaccination is a medical procedure which carries a risk of injury or death. As a parent, it's your responsibility to become educated about the benefits and the risks of vaccines in order to make the most informed, responsible vaccination decisions. Thank you.
All right. Well, the argument's very thorough. I think on the first point, the notion that it's not safe. You summarize the criticism of the autism study, and that takes a little bit of time. I think that your argument, though, really isn't about that study. It's about the general safety of vaccines, and that the evidence on the later part really brings that to the point where there are examples where there have been brain damage, and there are all the lawsuits that you point out and the amount of money that's been paid out, which certainly suggests that there are substantial problems that occur because of the vaccine. So I think you make that point pretty well. I do think you'd make it a little too extensively because the amount of time that it takes you to get through that. On the second point, you've got very good evidence here that says that the whooping cough outbreak, for instance, could not have been prevented by vaccination, since 81% of the children who did get the whooping cough were fully vaccinated, and the vaccine's only effective 41% of the time at particular ages and even less at different ages. So I think that that's a good counterclaim that responds to that. You're not always addressing the advocate's evidence, but I think you've got good counterclaims on those particular points. And then the last point, it really is specific to the herd immunity issue, and I thought that you had good information there. The warning at the end, I think, is a nice summary of that point. You just have to watch your time, and your audience contact is a little problematic because you're reading so much. Of course, since the audience isn't looking back at you, I'm not exactly sure that it matters that much. I don't want to get too pissy, folks, but